Hi, my name is Jennifer Falú. Everyone calls me Falú. I am a full-time social servant, but I am a spoken word artist and a teaching artist that pushes into classrooms all over the United States and internationally. And I teach writing, poetry, and I teach mending broken hearts. My goal is to give you these lessons, have you feel things, have you talk about things perhaps you don't get to talk about, have you talk about teaching, but also have you talk about real life and how real life impacts teaching and how your teaching impacts your real life, right? So that's my goal, and my goal is to have you remain teachers. All right, so here's our first exercise, right? You have your partner. You don't know this partner. I love that you don't know this partner. It means it's going to work out well. So you're going to look into the eyes of the person next to you, not next to you, sorry, across from you. No talking, no, whatever happens is what happens. But do not break eye contact. And your job, if your partner strays, is to bring them back with your eyes, gently, or roughly, whatever it is, whatever it is, period. Like whatever it is you need to do, bring them back. So we're gonna do a full 3 minutes. Open those eyes. The person across from you is absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at you. And go. All right, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. All right. All right. What did you learn about your partner in the silence? And I need to know how you felt about the silence. Any volunteers? Anybody can go.
Yeah, I could be totally wrong, but I think I learned that Eric is kind, and he's sensitive, he's funny, and has a sense of humor, for sure, and that there's a depth to his soul.
Well, all right. Come on, 3 minutes of silence. And you have been read. We did this at Breadloaf. I did this at Breadloaf with 150 middle schoolers, and there were lots of giggles, but also maybe like a minute and a half in, it got really silent. And so I think maybe it's something that you can incorporate in the mornings, right? Almost like a meditation for them, just for them to center themselves, and perhaps they can do it one with a person that they consider their bestie in the class, and then maybe the next day they could do it with somebody that like, I don't really fuck with you like that, like, you know, and see what happens, right? And see what bonds that builds or how it feels for them to be able to look at another person and laugh with them, because if I don't really like Auntie Umi, I'm gonna stare at her, but I'm also going to laugh. Like, because there are so many other things that I would want to say, and how does that change and shift the atmosphere for two people who really aren't getting along or who really don't like each other, right? But at this point, because we're staring at each other for 3 minutes, one of us is going to smile, which is going to make it so that the other one is smiling. Even with masks, I could tell who was smiling, who wasn't smiling, like, you can tell, right? So I think it might be something that you can incorporate in the morning, or something that you can incorporate at the end of the day. Now we done came from gym, and we tired, and now we can bring it down, and then we can dismiss, right? And so how does that shift the end of their day? Because you don't know what they're going home to, right? So yeah, just think about it. It could be something that we can incorporate into our day-to-day, and shift the energy of the classroom for that time, right? For me, I find that this is the easiest way to start a poem. If I'm giving you the first lines, and all you have to do is tell me how you feel about the rest of it, right? Here's what I want you to do before you start writing. I want you to write the most honest answers. Whatever it is, I don't want you to second guess it, because everything after the first thing you thought of is you talking yourself out of the truth, right? So, I don't want anything to be teaching related. I want it to be your heart related. And if teaching is in your heart today, great. But I want these things to be about you, not your students. I want this to be about you. I'm gonna give us 15 minutes to fill out this thing. And we've all just created the same poem with different answers. And then we're gonna share, because I love sharing. Hello, here I am, sharing. All right. Anyone need more time? Okay, perfect. All right. So, anyone want to share? Anyone like to go first? Yeah.
I forgive myself for becoming a single mother.
For not loving their dad anymore.
For repeatedly losing my cool at home.
I forgive myself for those I have let down, especially those who needed me the most.
For not spending enough time with the people who are now gone from this earth.
I forgive myself for not being at his bedside when he breathed his final breath, and then not seeing the dirt thrown on his casket as the earth accepted him.
I forgive myself for not always being kind, in fact, for at times even being cruel.
I forgive myself for allowing people to make me believe that I am not enough.
I forgive myself for not thinking I was enough as a child.
I forgive myself for not being enough. I am inept.
I am more than enough.
I am more than enough.
I am worthy of everything I have earned and continue to gain.
I am strong, brilliant, and wonderfully made.
I sacrifice my happiness every time I give too much of myself.
Okay.
Got this.
I am learning to be there for me.
I am still learning and growing.
I am learning. I am learning. I'm learning.
I am my best advocate and my worst critic. I am human.
I am my best friend now that I learned how to love myself. I am a person.
I am not alone. Love is waiting for me to find it.
Love is really
Being wrapped in warm arms as I sleep, and a warm plate on the stove when I get home from work.
Love is all that I am and all I will allow near me.
Love is opening my heart.
Love is patient, love is kind, and sometimes it may be sublime.
I do want to say that this exercise, I do it with middle school and high school, and I just handed it to you and let you write whatever it is that you wanted, that you needed to write. Not what you wanted to write, what you needed to write, to say whatever it is that you needed to say, right? But normally I would give this to middle school and I would say, that top line is for you to say whatever it is you need to say, and that I am is only to write something positive in relationship to how you felt about the line above it, right? So mine would say, I always use this example, I forgive myself for having children at 19, right? Because there goes, I've never known an adult life without having the responsibility of another person ever. I'm 38. I've been a parent since I was 19. There goes my 20s, and I love her, and they're amazing. However, things could have been different, right? And so, but my affirmation underneath is always, I am a good mother, right? So you could literally give this to a 6th grader, a 7th grader, and say, that top line is for you, but that bottom line must be something positive. It must be something good about you. It must be something that you see in yourself positive and something that you would want others to see positive in you. Tell me who you are. Tell me what your heart is, all right? So feel free to use this in your classroom and make it something positive, something that they could talk about. Yeah, so let's take that break though. Let's take that break. So I've kind of developed this way of introducing poetry to students. I'm gonna give you a word. You all have to agree on a song that goes along with that word. For example, if I'm a middle schooler and my teacher says, the word is up, what do you think middle schoolers are gonna say?
If it's up.
If it's up, then it's stuck, right? Exactly. But you all have to agree. Everyone has to know the song, right? So I give you a word, talk about it real quick. Everyone has to know the song. Everybody comes from different walks of life. You all gotta know the same song. So you feel like you all know the song, your team captain grabs this book. Sorry, I'm assuming. Grabs this book, right? Your team has to sing at least 15 to 20 seconds of this song. But it has to be the part that has, you gotta get to the part that has the word in it, or it gotta be the part that has the word in it, right? So I'm going to also, as the teacher, show you a poem with that word in it as well. And so now we're having a discussion about poetry and music, if that's what you so choose, right? All right, so first word, joy. Let earth receive. Lovely.
We been hurt, been down before. Nigga, when our pride was low, looking at the world like, where do we go? Nigga, and we hate po-po. They want to kill us dead in the streets for show. Nigga, I'm at the preacher's door. My knees get weak and my gun might blow, but we gonna be all right. My name is Roya Marsh, and I am a black poet who will not remain silent while this nation continues to murder black people. I have a right to be angry. I have a right to be joyful. Black joy is real, is native. It's not white. It's here before that. Before God said, let there be light so y'all could witness a glimpse of what you've been missing. Black is not a color, but absorbs all the colors of the visible spectrum and reflects none. Joy is a feeling of great pleasure or happiness. Black joy looks like me, like him or her or them. It knows no gender, just knows prosperity in spite of white supremacy. Black joy is a stone, worthy of digging, of excavating, a coveted jewel, to be held up to light, to sparkle, to dazzle. Black joy knows this poem is necessary, no matter what the fuck your judgment says, because you can't tell me black joy won't break any scale. You put it on shit. You can't tell me black joy ain't the scale itself. Black joy is contagious, so contagious, folks got caught appropriating. caught pinning black against black, or joy against joy, or Remy against Nikki, or Cardi against Nikki, or Ree against B, cause healthy, wealthy black femmes are just too close to God, and they only wanna see us black and joyous if they made us that way. But they cannot create black joy the same way they created race. They cannot dictate our blackness. They cannot dictate our happiness. And yeah, it's true. Once you go black joy, you never go back. Ask Rachel Dolezal and them Kardashians, those black holes. Make a staple of black joy. See black and happy can be synonymous. So whenever you hear the word black, instead hear happy. Case in point. In 2016, we bid farewell to the nation's first happy president. February is Happy History Month. Hollywood still won't cast happy people to play our happy selves, and yet another happy body is found slain. It is all the more reason to preserve this shield, this force field of fortune. No hot commodity to be bought or bootlegged or Kylie lip kit, backshot, brainwashed. Be your happiest when your mouth is open. Be your blackest when your mouth is open. Shout it at the Bowery Poetry Club. Shout black, shout joy. Remember, white supremacy is a beast that feeds on attention. We'll be happier, be hungrier, starve it, leave it nothing but the bones. Thank you.
One of my best friends. So, thoughts? What topics were we introducing? How did it make you feel? Go.
I think I really just like the emphasis on black joy, because often, you know, and that's where literature in general is just very dark, very gloomy, and then you go over to the black and brown side of things, and that's usually the narrative that you hear, even though she kind of weaves in and out of that, but there's still that emphasis on, like, yeah, we can still have joy even though all these things are happening to us. Like, we can still give you joy, and like, we are the manifestation of joy, and don't get it twisted. So I like that emphasis.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I like that emphasis.
Yeah. For this particular exercise, I want you to think about a song that brings you joy. I want you to tell me about your first memory of joy. Who was there? What happened? What did it smell like? What did you see? What did you touch? What were the sounds around you? How was your hair? Like, I want you to think about all those things when you're thinking about this first memory of joy, the first time that you can remember, whether it's childhood or whatever. If you get stuck, I just want you to write the word joy, 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 joy until something else pops in to continue the poem, right? So don't ever stop writing, and it's gonna be 15 minutes, right? So, also, while you're writing, you are playing this song that brings you joy, and this song has to be on repeat. And what happens if you get stuck? Joy, 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 joy. Okay? All right, so our 15 minutes are up. Did it go by quickly this time? Yeah. When you write about something else, it went by like, right? Something joyful, it's like, that was 5 minutes. All right, who wants to go first?
I chose the song I'm Alive by Celine Dion, specifically because my mother and I used to listen to it all the time. But that's not what this is about. Okay. Before your body started fighting you, Dad, 2 cancers, 2 failing kidneys, another cancer in progress, before myeloma tried and failed to test your unshakable faith. Before I watched your loneliness bloom like a single flower growing up from cracks in the concrete, Mom, that concrete could never hold your spirit back. Joy kept leaking through the breaks in the walls.
Joy is being a child in my mother's arms. Joy is her return home after a night out with a man I knew was not my father, but whom I wished was my daddy. Joy was eating that spicy street meat and forgetting the anger of the night before. The fear that my mother was living a life that did not include me with a man I wished would be my father.
I was holding Daddy's soft, strong hand and feeling loved. Coming home after 2 days away, I had a brand new baby sister waiting. She had curly black silk, brushed, framed her face like a halo. I stared down at her tiny legs kicking. She was on her back, checking us out. We, now a family of 4, Joy.
Before you two went your separate ways, before I knew that I unwittingly caused you discomfort when you sacrificed yourselves to be in the same room for my joy, my joy, my joy, there was a tree, sparkling, my eyes sparkling. It wasn't about the presents, though Santa never forgot me.
Hanging red, blue, green balls with bells from our 6-foot Christmas tree. Tearing of wrapping paper and bows. Dolls whose hair resembled our maze of twists and turns.
I don't know who drank the soy milk I put out for Santa's health. It wasn't the lasagna, the weirdest Christmas dinner. It wasn't that. It wasn't ever that. I was thankful before I was even fully aware that your joy came from my joy. It was like any time you both put aside your differences to be in the same room for me, who from such a young age didn't think I deserved it. You adopted me, after all. Someone else didn't want me, but you did. You said I was your joy, your joy, your joy.
Joy is arriving back at my mother's shop to see the man that I wish would be my father. He is there in the daylight. He is, I imagine, as fathers are. Joy is looking at him and knowing that sometimes a lie and a truth share a common ancestor. And I say yes.
That repetition of a man I wish to be my father. Is this your water bottle? It was like every time you said it, I was like a little more like, ugh. Wow, thank you. Now you get to enjoy everyone else, right? That's like, you're like, woo! All right, so do you think that's something that you can do with your students? And you can have them write about anything and whatever words you want to incorporate into that, whether it be joy, happiness, pride, whatever word you want to place in that for them to continue to write. I think it's a really good exercise to do for them to start thinking about memories and thinking about poetry in a way that is your 5 senses, right? So that you can remember details, because that's like where the dope is. One of my best friends always says dope is in the details. Like, that's what the memories are. So who was there? What did you see? What did it smell like? Were you eating something? What did that taste like? What did you hear? What did you touch? Was it textured? All of those things, right? So turn your paper over or go to a blank page. Line your page down from 1 to 10. I'm going to give you 10 words. They're going to come to you one at a time, obviously. You're going to put that word next to a number of importance. So 1 being the most important and 10 being the least important. But still important in the grand scheme of things. There's no judgment, there's no wrong answer, because you don't know the words. So the catch is that you can't erase. So you can't erase. So if I give you a word and you put it number 5, and then I get to the 9th word and you're like, damn, that might have been number 5. Sorry, it is what it is. You gotta leave it where it's at. All right? First word, religion. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is your religion? What you believe in? Spirituality. Second word, integrity. How important is it for you to have integrity? For you to act out of your integrity? Sorry. All right, cool. Learning new things. How important is learning new things? How important is trust? You guys, I love this game because you see people do this all day. Or Jessica was like this on her computer screen. All right. Loyalty. How important is loyalty? Ready for the next word? No? Yes. Appearance. Everyone should have 4 spots left. We all have 4 spots left? All right, great. Money. How important is money?
Now, is this like ideally what we would like, or like what we actually are?
I'm not participating in your overthinking. Money. How important is money? All right. Let's go with love. All right, 2 slots left, right? Friendship. All right. Family. First off, let's go with how did you feel? How did this list make you feel? See, like looking at where you are with it now, would you change anything? Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I see a no. I see some yeses. I see tiny bits. Does this exercise make you anxious? Does it? Yes. No. Okay. Good. This particular exercise, I always have a conversation with my students, and I could have the same conversation with you all about how all of these things are related, right? And how there's no wrong answer on this list, because none of these things can exist without the other, really, right? So like, if we take the word love, the basis of all religions is love, right? You have to kind of love to learn new things, or you learn new things that you love, right? You love your friends, you love your family. If you love someone, you are loyal to them. If you love yourself, however you show up in the world and appear is according to how you feel about you, right? The same with like money. People be borrowing money. You gotta love somebody to get us some money. You gotta love your job for the most part, right? Or you love your family enough to sacrifice to go to a job that you hate to get money. Whatever the story is, all of these things are related, right? And then the next conversation I always have with them is, hey, choices are important, right? So you see how you have this list that you're not 100% satisfied with. 5th and 6th graders, all they know is family. So when I get to family at the end, they're always like, oh, man, right? And so it's like devastating for them. But I always use that as a teaching moment to say, look, choices have consequences, decisions have consequences, right? And you never know what the next thing is, right? So you have to choose wisely. And sometimes you don't know. And you don't know how that can affect the rest of your life. Now, obviously, this is just a simple exercise on a piece of paper, but apply it to your life and look at the bigger picture. And then, so we have those conversations. And the way that I read the words, they're not even in the order in which I read them. On this paper, they're not in the order in which I read them to you. I literally read them in the order based on your reactions to the word before. So whatever reaction you had made me decide which word I was going to use. So I always save family for last because that just stresses people out the most, and I love that. Like, it's my favorite thing to do. But all of the other words, I just really do them according to what I'm looking at, the energy in the room. So you can make any words that you feel like will work for your students, and you can put them in whatever order you want based on, because you know them best, right? Like, you know them, so you know what they're going to respond to, what they're not going to respond to. So just plug it in and stress them out. It's great. That's my favorite thing. Mahogany L. Brown was my professor. Well, she is the godmother of my youngest daughter, and she's also my best friend in the whole world. But she used to teach this lesson based on the vertical interrogation of strangers. And I adapted this lesson, and I want to, or this prompt, and I want to share it with you. Here's what we're gonna do. Everybody write a number between 1 and 12 on the top of your page. Huh? New page. Sorry, new page. So question number 1 for people who chose number 1. Who are you and whom do you love? Only if you chose number 1. If you chose number 2, where did you come from and how did you arrive? Who chose number 3? Okay. How will you begin? Number 4 is, how will you live now? Number 5, what is the shape of your body? Number 6, who is responsible for the suffering of your mother? Number 7, what do you remember about the earth? 8, what are the consequences of silence? It's the involuntary face you just made. Okay. Number 9. Okay. Tell me what you know about dismemberment. Nobody chose 10, but I'm going to read it anyway. Describe a morning you woke without fear. 11? Who chose 11? Ashley. How will you have you prepared for your death? And 12? Who chose 12? And what would you say if you could? So we're going to do a 20-minute, small groups for 20 minutes. So go ahead. I want to survive for everyone around me. My eldest won't make it if I don't. My mother won't make it if I don't. She'll be a gutted statue. I want to survive for myself, but I'm afraid I won't make it. I am a statue with no mouth to say you're breaking me. I am crumbling. I believe at my funeral, I will be ashamed to be dead the same way I'm ashamed to have lived. A life where I gave it all and didn't keep any strength for myself, didn't keep any joy for myself, where I pretended to be a mountain and let it all pile. I want to think I can be stone and soft and worthy of God's mercy, a love without death, of death without shame, of loving myself enough to fight, to reclaim what's mine. Thank you.